Alright, so this is kind of a quick tip. It's something I discovered with my tank heaters I installed last winter. You saw in my recent videos where I got a chance to actually use these in very, very cold weather. I had some concerns of whether or not they were all working correctly. So what I'm going to show you right now is a quick tip, I guess you would refer to it as, maybe a little bit of a promotion. You can find this particular product listed on my thejohnnyoshow.com/promotions page, or a link in the description. But I have the tank heaters that run off AC and not DC. And they have thermostats on them. I discovered they don't work like they advertise. One heater seemed to work correctly regarding thermostat. The other heater was always on, which I can live with that, except just keep in mind the thermostat is not reliable. And the third was off and on, very sporadic, basically did not work. So let me show you what I did to find out how well my tank heaters are working. So what I ended up getting to just see if I have all the tanks working, and I even questioned it, but it's finally cold enough again here in Iowa. I decided, because I have 3 tank heaters, they're all roughly 0.7 amps. So when all 3 are on, it'll be 2.1 amps that it's drawn. And if only 2 are on, 1.4, and if only 1 is on, 0.7. This is what I purchased. As you can see right now, 1.4 amps. That means 2 of the heaters are working. Now I can already tell you which 2. It's the one on the freshwater tank, and it's the one on the black tank. The gray tank heater isn't on. I felt them to see. But I do know at least 2 of them are on and working. Long story short, I was just going to come in here and show you, and it said 2.1, telling me that all heaters were on. In any case, this is what you would want. It's really simple. You'd put this in line. You have the white and black. Now, I didn't use the right color wires, but one is basically the black and one is basically the white. They're both white, but you give it power by connecting to the 2 terminals. Basically, you got your neutral and your hot connected to the terminals there. So right here, I have the little CT thing. That is what reads the amperage going through the power wire, and I just have it running on the 1 wire to the fuse. So if the fuse blows, then it would stop sensing power, which would then read zeros across. So this is not really a tutorial on how to wire this. I've got another video where I installed the tank heaters. So if you look that up on my channel, installing tank heaters or something like that, I'm sure you'll find it, where I go through how I hooked all this up. But basically, I'm just saying you want this. I'm going to get me a switch so I can turn the whole thing off, and then that'll turn off power to this and the tank heaters, and then when it's on, it'll tell me how much is working. I'm gonna go get me the switch and we'll get this thing mounted and I'll show you how to wire it. That was this morning, now it's this evening, and it's 32 degrees outside, and now the 3rd tank is actually on. So they do all work, but the thermostats are either a little funky on the other 2 tanks, or because one has no water in it and the other one might have less water or less antifreeze in it, then I don't know, but I think it's just the thermostats aren't very reliable with these tank heaters. But as you can see, this is a perfect addition, because this is how you can tell, okay, we have all 3 tank heaters working. Oh, and one just kicked off. See? So it just shut off. So it must have got the temp and it shut off. I'm not sure what's up with that, but you know, that's on the least important tank, in my opinion. It must be kicking on and kicking off. So in any case, it does work. I don't know, it's kind of weird that it would kick off that soon. I think it's got a messed up thermostat, honestly. And that's, I think, is the issue. I'll come back a little later when it even gets colder outside and see if it'll steadily stay on. But my point being is, I think that is a perfect addition to your tank heaters, is the amp meter, because then you'll really be able to know the status of your heaters and know what they're really doing and how well they're really working. So that's looking good. I'm going to button all this up tomorrow and mount a switch to turn these off and on. Alright, so I'm all done. I went ahead and got this mounted in here. Nothing special about that. You saw the temporary hookup I had earlier. You are messing with 110 volts, so you should know a little bit about what you're doing. I'm not going to provide a tutorial on this. It's wiring up a switch. This switch I got from True Value. It matches the other ones. I really like these switches. They're capable of handling 20 amps at 120 volts. So you can use these switches for AC. And I really like them because you just drill a hole. I use a nice big washer like this on the front and back so it has a nice bite and is nice and solid on this thin, wimpy wood here. But now I have my tank heaters connected, and I can just look at it, and I have 3 tank heaters. Each one uses 0.7 amps, so when I see a solid 2.1, I know my tank heaters are all working correctly, and as long as I see that 2.1, I know I'm good. And then I got just the standard switch so that when I don't need tank heaters, when it's not cold outside, I can just leave these off, because the thermostats on the tank heaters don't work reliably, and there's no need to wear your tank heaters out if you're not even in your camper and it's winterized. I do keep my camper plugged into AC all year when it's parked, so that the batteries have a nice constant trickle charge to them, rather than leave them to freeze in the wintertime or have to pull them out. So that's why I do that. And also, we use this camper. This camper works great for people coming to stay as guests. This is the guest house when we're not camping in it. So that's what I did. That's my little quick tip. If you have tank heaters and they're all running off one connection and you want to be able to tell if they're all working or not, this amp meter will tell you, based on, you should see the total amperage drawn for the tank heaters you got. And if it doesn't match, you know you have a tank heater out. So that's my quick tip, what I ended up doing, and I hope you find it beneficial. Check out thejohnnyoshow.com/promotions to find a lot of the products I talk about here on my channel. You can shop Amazon through my links there. I appreciate the support. You have a great evening.